How long does it take for these guys to figure out the chemistry to get back to that promised land?
Well, let's start the question off from that. That's how we do it. You heard Dennis Scott.
Yeah, I would say it's at least going to take until the All-Star break, 3D, because when you talk about putting the chemistry together, the best thing they have is talent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you always want to be able to work with talent. You don't want to be working with chemistry with no talent, right? So,
yeah, that's the worst.
So if you got talent, which they have a plethora of, then you got talent. Now you can blend the chemistry, and I think D Wade did the right thing in terms of going back to the bench. Now we look at it and say, D Wade going back to the bench, oh, what a selfless thing. Okay, well, I played with Mark Aguirre.
Talk about it,
right? And Mark Aguirre, when he said he wanted to go to the bench, we was like, oh man, that's so cool of you. He's like, no, it's more shots for me. That second unit. He's saying that first unit ain't no shots for me. It's you, Joe, Lambeer, and then that first unit in Cleveland, right? It's LeBron, it's Kevin Love. So D Wade looking at it like, hey, ain't no shots for me, so I'm gonna go to this second unit and I can get more shots.
Isaiah, and that's one reason why I love it. And y'all can send all your hate mail and love mail to us here, but we're not gonna just tell you what you want to hear, because I kept hearing, oh, it's so nice. I'm like, well, if you saw the stats from the first 3 games, and there's rest involved, there's second unit involved, and when we talk about 6 men of all time, I mean the greatest 6 men of all time. You're right here. It could have started and gave people the business. Was it a difference for you, a mind state of coming off the bench, or do you think that he did this for J.R. Smith, who maybe needed this mentally as a coach, as a player? What do you think was kind of the genesis behind all this? Was it just the fact, like we say, his knees are bad and he needs to come off the bench?
I went back to the bench later on in my career because Eddie Pickney came over and Eddie wanted to start. Eddie got more confident starting, and he can only play so minutes coming off the bench. Like, I'd start and play 42 minutes. Look at the coach and say, Coach, at least if I didn't start, I figured 35, 36 minutes is the most I was going to play. But also, Red Auerbach told me this early in my career. He said, Mikhail, if you just come off the bench, here's all the benefits. You're probably going to be close to the bonus when you get in the game. You're going against second stringers. They'll all put their second string in the start of the second quarter. You'll have 5 minutes of murdering those guys. And he said, it'll be better for you. And I really enjoyed it, Chris. So later on in my career, I did come off the bench because you want to know something? It was better for me. And, and in turn, it helped the team. And I think Cleveland's the same way. It'll be better for D. Wade, and in turn, it'll help the team.
Guys, the unique thing about both your careers, you're hell of a players, but you did it on the other end, too, coaching and being in management, drafting some great players, rookies of the year, other type players. When you look at, and we'll kind of get into what's going on off the court in Chicago, we'll say that for a little later, but when you look at just where they are right now, 2 starters out, trying to figure out, who they are in a place that has a great legacy, like where you 2 guys were, trying to rebuild that legacy. Questions last year with star players about the intensity of the coach. What good rookies, what are the next steps for a team like a Chicago? What's your goal? What's your focus?
Guys have got to start emerging. You draft guys, and hey, everybody thinks that you're ready to play coming right out of college. Man, your first month in the NBA, your head's spinning. You're like, what is going on here? And one thing, these cats are really good.
Exactly. The game is fast.
So, you know what? These guys have got to emerge, and some of these young guys have got to start stepping up and playing better. And then they've got to get an identity. I don't believe you can play in this game unless you have an identity. And I tell you what, one of the easiest identities to get, in my opinion, is let's be the roughest team. Let's be the team that plays harder. Let's punch you in the mouth and just see if they like it. I promise you, not many people like it. Let's be the team that when they call the timeout, you do this and walk over your bench. Just strap it up. Be that. But they've got to have an identity.
I think Portis was listening to you because he punched his teammate.
But then he's supposed to punch the other guy, not your teammate.
No, but you hit on the right thing just in terms of identity, right? And I never thought you would say this about the Chicago Bulls organization, right? I don't think the team is looking for an identity. I think the organization has lost their identity in terms of who they are, what they stand for, what they're about, not necessarily in the community, but in the basketball community. In the community, the Chicago Bulls, they still do great things outside.
Right.
But on the floor, right, this is a team that has lost its identity within the basketball community of the NBA. And that's something that, is going to be very difficult for them to come back and find.
Isaiah, you're talking a lot, but Detroit Pistons lost that same thing in the community, so you might have to go back to the Pistons and bring some of that glory back.